Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of I Never Knew, but My Dog Did podcast. So happy everyone is here and listening. I have an absolute special treat for you today, especially because it is drumroll dog related. And we were just talking offline, and then I had to stop and go, wait, we need to record this because we have so much in common and so much to say about the puppies. And you're going to love my next guest because it's going to be an hour of puppy talk. And I mean, hello, what could be better than that? So there's one in the background here barking. So today, my guest is Angela Schneider, and I am so thrilled to have her. So she was born and raised in Nova Scotia. Oh, that's awesome. And she had a career in sports journalism, and it took her to the other side of Canada. There she found herself the guardian of a 2-year-old Maremma sheepdog named Shep. He comforted her through job losses, broken hearts, and all the challenges a 30-something faces as she tries to navigate the world. I love that I have dogs barking today of all days. Normally they don't, but today they're feeling the dog vibe.
Yeah, they
So
are.
I have no apologies. Sorry, not sorry. The dogs are part of this world. And I love that you say through job losses, broken hearts, and all of the challenges. That's what the dogs are here for, what they do. So he chose her future husband. And I can't wait to hear about that. And his ultimate act of love was to leave her physical world and make way for the best friend she's ever known, Bella. She is a professional dog photographer in Eastern Washington and North Idaho. And early last year, her mother died. It upended her life in a way that she can sometimes not find words to describe. Along her grief journey, she became a master grief coach and pet loss grief companion so that she could serve her clients who need better support when their pets are nearing their last walks. Whether due to aging or a terrible diagnosis, she founded One Last Network, a podcast that connects pet guardians to the support and services they may need as they near those last walks. She has also created a program to train other pet photographers to be supportive for their clients. Hello, my soul sister and friend Angela.
You've already got me crying just hearing those words read back to me.
I love it. I
You
love
sounded
it. Oh, I am so happy you're here and that you engulf yourself in everything dogs as I do because we just I don't know. I think everybody feels what we feel. And to me, they're such teachers. So let's talk about since it's I never knew. I want to know, and it sounds like you've had so many moments of these knee stories where I say life brought you to your knees. So let's start with, where Shep really helped you and where you were at that bottom point where you realize, wow, what an amazing thing Shep did for you. Tell us about your struggle journey.
Yeah. So I was in my 30s and living in Calgary, Alberta. And he came into my life when I was still a sports journalist with the Calgary Sun. And I ended up getting laid off 2006. And of course, that was a major shift in my life as well, because my identity was wrapped in being a sports journalist. I was interesting to people because I was a sports journalist. I maybe had inside information about the Calgary Flames, our NHL team. I never had inside information about the Calgary Flames.
Just FYI, Canada people.
Yeah. It was not my beat, so I had no idea what was going on the inside. But I had wrapped myself in a world that I thought was supposed to be. I wrapped myself in a world where I thought I was supposed to be, where I thought I wanted to be. And I was surrounded by people who, very frankly, didn't give two shits about me.
Yeah.
And I was constantly trying to please them and make myself valuable to them, while I had this 110-pound beast sitting at home that needed me to recognize I was valuable to him. And it was the summer of 2006, shortly after I got laid off from the Sun. I had a bit of a breakdown because nobody was supporting me in that job loss. As we all know, job loss can, or is, very much a grief activating time in your life. I didn't know that now. Or I know that now. I didn't know that then. And I felt very alone in the world. And I was sitting on my kitchen floor thinking some very bad thoughts. And I looked up and he was right by my side, wanting to be there with me. And it was in that moment that I knew I needed to turn my life over to him.
Yeah.
And because he needed me. And I realized that I needed him. And I saw that I wasn't giving him the life that he should be living, because I was too busy packing my softball bag and going up to the softball park to try to please these people who didn't give two shits about me. And I still played a little ball here and there after that, but my life ended up completely shifting to take him to the mountains and hike and be in the great outdoors. And that was where we ended up belonging together and feeling free and realizing that I don't need those people. I had actually entered therapy as well. And one of the things she said to me was, how many people live in Calgary? I was like, 1.2 million at the time. I'm sure it's a lot bigger now. And I said, what? I said, 1.2 million. And she goes, how many people play softball? I said, I don't know, 100. So out of the 1.2 million people in Calgary, those 100 people are the ones you think should matter. Why don't you go out and find other people? And it was a moment. And so I found people to go hiking with, people with dogs, and we would go hike. And the other major shift that Shep showed me in this time period was that I needed to have a camera in my hands. I had as a small town sports journalist, I started my career in Gander, Newfoundland, and then moved out to Kamloops, British Columbia. And so I had to do a lot of my own photography.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to hate my camera. I grew up loving photography, but I started to hate my camera because it was work.
Yeah.
And so when I moved to Calgary and I was part of a really large sports staff, and we had our own staff of photojournalists, I didn't need to take pictures anymore. So I got rid of all of my gear. But then I'm standing at the top of a mountain in Banff National Park, the Rocky Mountains, with the most beautiful dog I've ever seen in my life. I mean, the most beautiful place in my life. I don't have a camera. And I thought, oh, what am I doing? This is wrong. I need to have a camera. And I ended up buying my first digital SLR with my Christmas bonus that year after I had found another job. And I haven't stopped taking pictures since.
Wow.
So he taught me so much of who I was supposed to be. Yeah. I wasn't supposed to be this party girl wearing heels all the time and trying to keep up with the big money life in Calgary. I was supposed to be wearing hiking boots and breathing the air and loving the things that Mother Nature has given us.
Oh, your story is just, it just literally mirrors me and mine. And I appreciate it so much because my history with domestic violence, and then finally taking these moments of like, I need to stop dating and I need to like learn something about myself. And I had that same epiphany aha moment where I'm boohooing in my pity party on my bed, like, oh, nobody loves me. No one's ever going to accept me. And I look over and, Brody's right next to me looking at me. Jade is like licking my tears, literally. And it was that moment of, oh my gosh, they love you so much and love you unconditionally. What is your problem? Why don't you love you? And I'd never done anything alone. And like you, I started hiking. We have a beautiful lake by me, Lake Saguaro or Saguaro Lake, 20-minute drive. And I started going and sitting by the lake and hiking by the lake and taking the dogs to the dog park every day. And it's just amazing how the dogs know what we need and for their person. Like they are for you, they're your person and you are their person. And if you can't see yourself in the way that they see you, then that's where the work needs to be done. And you found the joy in photography again. You got a different job where you could get the bonus to get the camera and just it's so cool when the universe lines this stuff up and we don't even know it's happening until boom. I mean, who knew I was going to write 2 books about dogs and my whole podcast is on dogs and, my coach, it's just my speaking, all of it because of them. And they just sit there. What I say to people all the time, Angela, and I want to hear your take on this. I say, of all the things on this planet, dogs convey the most love, acceptance, and appreciation without saying a single word. How is that possible, right?
Yeah. And the thing about the way they love us is that it's so honest and pure. To heck with the unconditional thing, because I don't necessarily believe that it's unconditional love, because they do expect us to feed them and they do expect us to take them out for walks and they do expect us to pick up their poop. you know, and I always say to people, picking up your dog poop should remind you of your humility.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are no greater a human than anyone because you have to pick up your dog shit.
they keep us humble, that's for sure.
Exactly.
I've had those moments where I'm supposed to like I went on our local TV program and I remember before leaving I was picking up dog poop. It's like you are never too good. This is what your dogs are saying. You are never too good for anything. Now go pick up my crap. So I love that. When I say unconditional, I think it's like we're conditioned and we're responsible to take care of them. But I think like babies, yeah, they need us to take care of them, but they don't expect it. And that's the difference with, I think humans versus,
Oh, you haven't met Bella.
well, that's because she conditioned you to do that. It's not
It's
because, right? It's not that you conditioned her. She conditioned you to know that you're expected to do that. But most animals are just like, just love me. I just want to be loved. And they don't care if you have poop in your backyard. They really don't. I mean,
no,
really. So it's they do need to be fed and cared for and loved. It's just like children, they just need your time and your love. But I love that you integrated the photography into the grief recovery and especially losing your mom. How did the dog grief recovery help when your mom passed, or what did you recognize that was needed?
well, so I launched my pet photography business in late 2017. It was a promise I had made to Shep before he died that I would do that at some point. I was in a largely failed marketing and communications career that lasted for 12 years. I hated every day of it. It just wasn't my thing. And I started to study read into pet loss grief, because approximately one third of my clients were coming to me for end of life sessions. And I just wanted to, even though I had gone through it with Shep in 2014, I wanted to understand how I could be a better support person for those clients. And then my mom died on January 28th last year. And there was a whole other thing happening in my pet photography industry where some gal on the East Coast had started this movement to do end of life photography sessions for free. And it upended a lot of the people who were in that area, because they would get inquiries for sessions and the potential client would react very strongly against having to pay for it. They thought that all photographers should just do this for free because this group of photographers was doing it for free. And I don't knock what they're doing. They're providing a service that is valuable and needed. And if anything, in this moment today, I appreciate that they are disrupting my industry, because it is forcing us to make changes to the way we do business and educate our clients and market our businesses. And after a failed 12-year marketing and communications career, I appreciate disruption, because I saw what social media did to newspapers, and I saw what online marketing has done to regular marketing. I lived through that. I educated myself how to embed social media and websites into my own marketing. But when Mom died, it became more of a mission. And as we all are after a very close personal loss, we're lost. Things have changed. We have to find a new path. As we said before we hit record, grief and death and loss can be opportunities if we allow them to be, because everything has changed, and because we have to, as David Kessler says, find meaning in the memories of the people who are gone now. And it can impact the way we live our lives. In a way, we have to allow those memories to impact our lives in a way that allow us to honor the memories of our past loved ones and pets. And so I was hiking with Bella, and I thought, my mind just starts to go places when I'm in the middle of the woods, and the idea of the podcast came to my brain, and I started messaging a friend and just brain dumping onto a Facebook message with her, and she was like, yes, this is your path now. This is what you need to do. And it came to be that I went into coaching with the glorious and amazing Heather Lotman of Flourish Academy. She trains photographers and does mindset coaching. And I was talking her through what I wanted to do. And then on the back end, I wanted to bring pet photographers into a community where I could teach them how to create better content, because I'm a writer and a content creator, and it's a way for us to educate our clients on what we do. And she says to me, why don't you become a grief coach? And I said, what? And she said, you could become a grief coach and then teach pet photographers how to be grief supports for their clients. And I went, oh, shit. Okay. So I found Kathy Cheshire. She is a master grief coach after having lost 2 sons. And that was my break-in to really learning about grief. And of course, I wanted to niche down because of my pet photography. And I found Colleen Ellis at Two Hearts Pet Loss Center. And I am now a certified pet loss grief companion. And I have created my own course now to teach pet photographers the basics of supporting their clients. Just, simple things in the right things to say.
Yeah.
That's really one of the hardest things in our society right now, is when you're confronted with a person in grief. You feel awkward and you feel stupid. You don't know what to say. So let's educate people on the right things to say, or the right ways to support our people who are in grief.
Yeah.
That's my mission.
And especially those who don't understand the impact of animals. And after Brody passed, and we were talking offline, listeners, I don't know if I've shared this yet, but my beloved Brody, who's been the subject of my books and just my life, my 11-and-a-half-year-old Aussie. He unfortunately passed away on December 21st, and the whole family was around, and he had osteosarcoma. And we only had 5 days after the diagnosis before he had a catastrophic fracture. Basically, the tumor grows out from inside the bone and weakens the bone around it, and then it fractures the bone. And he was in so much pain. I was fortunate, and I'm going to plug this wonderful veterinarian, and it's Arizona Pets at Rest, or it's Pets at Rest, Arizona. And my the veterinarian, there's only one. She arranged things, came and took so much time with our family around, loving him, and we helped him cross to the Rainbow Bridge, and it was just the most beautiful thing ever. And after that, of course, I posted on social media that my baby had passed, and I was sad. And then there was a meme I posted like a little while ago, or a little while later, that said, if you say it's just a dog, it's an instant unfriend. Because I think the dog lovers are divided into excuse me, into sort of those who see them as actual children and family members, and then there's dog owners. And there's a difference to me, is I don't own my dog. My dog is my family, and I don't own my people in my family. So what do you think about that? And have you seen a difference in people who grieve, where it's like, okay, it's just a dog, I don't know why you're grieving it so much, and how do you feel about that?
Well, I have, in my deep, dark past, a boyfriend who said that to me. I was 17 or 18, and our rough collie Princess was hit by the milk truck. So I'm dating myself because there's no such thing as milk truck anymore. She got hit by the milk truck, and she died in our basement after either my mom or dad carried her back into the house. And God, I loved that dog. She was so beautiful. She was the subject of a lot of my photography when I was a teenager. And I had completely forgotten about that until I launched my photography business. But she knew how to pose. I would come around the corner trying to catch her candidly, and she just knew, and she would be in a straight, like,
a little diva pose.
oh, she was total diva. Oh my gosh. But he said that night when we were together and I was crying, he said, it's just a dog. I've never forgotten about him. Yeah. Aside from all of the other shit that he pulled. But the what I think of now when I hear people talking about the insensitive things that have been said to them after pet loss, I feel so sorry for those people who said those things.
Yeah.
I I I I wish so much they could understand. Shoot.
Oh, it's okay. It's
I'm
okay.
sure people
No,
on your podcast all the time.
absolutely.
um,
Absolutely. Passion and emotion.
I wish they could understand the depth of love and the incredible bond we develop with just a dog.
Yeah.
Because you you had me write about the two things that really shifted my life. Well, the third thing that really shifted my life just happened. And my baby girl, my 9-year-old Maremma sheepdog Bella, is laying downstairs with her leg completely shaved with a gash covered in staples because she just had TPLO surgery yesterday. And it is a message to me that I need to step back from a lot of the things that I'm trying to accomplish and spend more time with her. Because she'll be 9 in March. Shep lived to 12 and a half years. I don't know if I'll get her to 12 and a half years. I might even be fortunate enough to get her to 14.
Yeah.
Whatever. I want to make every day of her life epic. Because
Yeah.
I also made that promise to her the day she came home. I said, every day of your life is going to be awesome. Because I didn't do that for Shep in the first 2 or 3 years we were together. So my apology to him for not always being the best pet parent for him is to be the best pet parent for her. And of course I haven't been. Life is complicated. Life is hard, and especially when you're an entrepreneur, especially when you get the crazy idea to launch a second business. you know, so it has taken my businesses have taken a lot of time away from her. I need to set those businesses up in a way that every day of her life is epic now.
Yeah. And no regrets. Life gets in the way of living sometimes. And I think it's great that that's the beauty. Like I said, not a word spoken by these animals, and they are able to communicate to us the priorities in life. And that's what I love the most about animals. So let's and guys, I have to tell you, if you can't see behind me, because we're gonna have the YouTube video up, I'll have that up. But if you can't, since you're listening in audio, you should see the gorgeous pictures behind her I mean, they're out in nature and just the way she captures their personalities. So I want to know, how do you make your business thrive outside of being able to be in the presence of the animals? Are you able to do things remotely? Like if I wanted a beautiful picture like that of my puppies, can you transpose my puppy onto a beautiful scene like that?
I am I am an on location photographer.
Okay.
I am fairly terrible at compositing in Photoshop. I will make no bones about it. I Most of the dogs you see here either had well, he still has his collar on, but there was a leash. Um, and Bella is always on leash. So I'm very adept at removing collars and leashes in Photoshop. That's where it ends.
No, 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 no. I am challenging, guys and listeners. What do you think? I think everyone needs to like inundate her with emails and ideas, because I mean, I think it could blow up, because I would love to send a picture that you could transpose. And you know what? It's just a challenge. You're not bad at it. You just haven't honed in yet to your perfection. And I challenge you, and I think you could absolutely do it.
Well, here's my response to that is I will travel outside of the inland Northwest to do epic pictures of you and your dog doing dog things in your favorite places. It's just going to cost you a little extra. And
Well,
the other thing, the one product that I have that is very unique to my business, because I'm also a professional writer, is I will write a book about you and your dog
oh, that's pretty
with
cool. Tell us about that.
custom photography and a custom book about you and your dog. It's called The Journey Session, and I've been offering it for about a year, and I've had I've done a couple of books now, and it's I'm really proud of that.
Oh my gosh.
And I still have to write one about Shep and one about Bella. So
Yes, you do. Well, as we wrap up, I want to know. Well, we talk about, since this is I never knew. What is the thing now that you know that you didn't know back then that you give advice to your clients when you help them through the pet grief?
I never knew how vital it is to just listen,
Yeah.
because as one of my mentors, David Kessler, says, grief must be witnessed. We have so many incredible stories about our memories of our dogs or our cats or our horses or whatever, our moms, our dads, our brothers, whoever has gone on to the next plane. There's a part of us that wants to tell those stories. There's a lot of people that won't always listen. So what I'm trying to do is move forward the idea that we can be a more compassionate and less judgmental society if we just, pardon my French, shut the fuck up every once in a while and listen to people. I will share with you one quote that I have had on my Facebook page since the day I started my Facebook account. It is by the legendary journalist Bob Woodward. And he says, and this has been one of my guiding principles almost my entire career, is that, oh, I know where it is. I know where it is. Oh, yes. And of course, the other quote is, well-behaved women seldom make history. It's one of my favorites. But Bob Woodward said, a true writer finds an interesting story in everything, even a grain of sand.
Yes.
So that's been my guiding principle. I believe that you have a story to tell. I believe that my next door neighbor has a story to tell. I believe that the person I like the least on this planet has a story to tell, and that story matters. And that is all I'm trying to do, is allow people the space to tell their story in a judgment-free, compassionate space. And if that story is about your dog, then you're my people.
That's right. And I think there are moments in every day that if you have that curiosity, that you'll find a story in those moments and those little nuggets, whoever you encounter, whatever you're doing, be open to it. Like you said, I think the best thing that you said, as simplistic as that is just listen, just look, observe your surroundings, quit being so in yourself and just observe your surroundings. So if anybody wants to find you for photography and their puppy story, or grief counseling coaching from you, where do they go?
For my photography, they can go to bigwhitedogphotography.com.
Okay.
I am, of course, on Instagram and Facebook as Big White Dog Photography. For the grief stuff, I haven't started doing any counseling.
Okay.
But what I do have on onelastnetwork.com is a directory of photographers who are now, most of them are trained to support their clients in the anticipatory grief stages of their pets' lives. And I have a photographer in Pittsburgh, Jessica Wasik, near Boston, Darlene Woodward, Vegas, Nicole Rustick, Sacramento, Kylie Doyle, me in Spokane. I'm missing Courtney Bryson in Atlanta, Lynn Center in Ashton, Virginia, Nancy Kiefer in Syracuse, New York.
And that's all available to people if they contact you, right? If they reach
Absolutely.
out. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
those folks are on my directory on onelastnetwork.com. The more word gets out, the more pet photographers can be trained, you know?
I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. So you got that, listeners. And I'll also have those links in my description under her episode. So bigwhitedogphotography.com and onelastnetwork.com is her podcast. So reach out to her if you need any of that. And I'm sure there's probably remote that they can do as well. So that's going to wrap us up today. And I'm just so thrilled that I got to meet you and that I just feel all dog lovers unite in this planet. And I think it's getting bigger and bigger and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. So I thank you for your information and for being here and for sharing your story and your tears with us. Cause we all feel you. We are empathetic to how deeply we connect with our animals. So thank you, my love.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed chatting with you.
And I'm going to be on her podcast as well, guys. So we'll make sure we're going to share both of those on all of our social media. Don't forget, if you need life coaching, self-esteem, self-confidence, dating and relationship coaching, lifecoachmaureen.com, and our pet boutique where you can get healthy treats, only 3 ingredients, no additives, no dyes, and lots of bandanas. And I also have safety products like seat belts and these awesome water bottles that you can take with you to a doggy park to always keep your dogs hydrated. That is at mydogiseverything.net. And of course, my books. My dog is more enlightened than I am, and my dog is my relationship coach. And book 3 is in progress. And of course, it will be dog related. How could it not be anything but? I'm hoping to publish sometime at the end of 2023. So I love you all for listening. Please leave those reviews. Please send your comments and touch base with Angela. She's fabulous. She's so compassionate and empathetic and loving when it comes to the dog lovers of the world. And her photography is stunning. So thank you all. Until our next episode, well, have a wonderful day wherever you are. I want you to be well and to be happy. And most of all, love your furry baby for us. Give him a big hug today. Take care, everyone.